across state lines.
Most of the allegations were past a statute of limitation if they were true anyway. And then thirdly, the other counts weren't even illegal at the time when they stated these acts happened. You know what I'm saying? Initially, like the transporting of children across state lines for the purpose of illicit sex. They're saying that Dr. York caused or did transport children from New York to Georgia just to do this. So first of all, it can't be illegal in the state you're exiting from. Your charges have to be illegal in the state you're arriving in when the act supposedly took place. And we asked them, if you, in essence, they used the Mann Act, which was initially set up to trap pimps and prostitutes. So the initial question is, okay, if you're charging him with bringing children from New York to Georgia for this purpose, then where's the person who engaged in the act?
The prosecution argues from 1993 to 2002, York committed these acts from New York to Georgia. However, without a strong indictment, the U.S. Attorney Office quickly re-indicted York on federal racketeering charges under the RICO law as a criminal enterprise.
They had the initial indictment, which was only 4 counts, which didn't involve racketeering, which didn't involve a whole bunch of the mess that later on they knew that initial indictment was going to fall in his face. So they came with a superseding indictment, what they call a superseding indictment. Superseding indictment allows you the ability to add on to your original indictment. This wasn't a superseding indictment. They re-indicted Dr. York because according to the initial indictment, they were charging him with things that wasn't even a crime at the time. Literally.
During the illegal search and seizure of May 8th, amongst the media frenzy outside the Nuwaubian property, 5 children were taken into Sheriff Seal's custody without express or written consent of their parents, nor DFAC procedures were followed.
They took the children and they put them in DFAC's custody.
Mind you, they didn't even literally take them to the DFAC's facility. They just took them somewhere and kept them.
Right, without the parents knowing or just anything. They literally just took
kidnapped them.
5 children. Long story short, the children were proven by the state of Georgia, Judge Spivey, to have never been molested.
But then they remained in DFAC's custody. For months on end afterwards.
Yes. And not only that, they left these 5 children who were stated and proven to not have been molested by the state of Georgia, Judge Spivey's ruling, and still kept them in the indictment as to have been molested. Not only that, they sealed the records
Of the ruling
of the children to not have been molested according to the state of Georgia.
I went objectively straight at this thing and said, okay, if I was the initial responding officer to a call that child molestation is happening at 44 Shadydale Road, what would I have done? According to the procedures that govern Georgia law enforcement officials, because you gotta remember, this started with Sheriff Seals, who went to the GBI, who went to the FBI. See what I'm saying? So the root of this is wrong. You start wrong, you end wrong. You see what I'm saying? At the root, this thing was corrupt and bogus from the beginning.
Garland's whole tone changed. I don't know if he had to sit down with someone. It was like, it changed 100%.
For the next several months, the Garland, Samuel, and Loeb firm, along with Frank Rubino and Associates, would spearhead their own clients' coercion and depleting the organization's finances. He was constantly denied sleep and constantly
questioned and harassed for 24 hours straight
through the night
prior to making the plea. So he made that plea under duress.
Even in the beginning, the plea, Garland came to him because I don't know if Bobby would know, but the Garland firm is known for plea deals. Basically comes to him like, you need to take this plea. He works out a plea deal with the prosecution. Prosecution's like, we'll let all the other people go if he takes this plea. Dr. Scott's like, no, we'll just fight it, we can fight it, we can win it, we can win it.
And he didn't want to fight this case because he was made a deal with them. He took over $1.5 million, as I'm told, of my sister in cash money from our tribe, and flaunted it and didn't even use it. Never intended on having a trial, but intended to put their bonus plea. But they knew I wasn't going to take a plea, so they could torture me into taking a plea.
Kathy Johnson, Khadijah Merritt, Chandra Lumpkin, and Astaire Cole was originally on the indictment as victims, stating nothing ever happened. Once they agreed not to become co-conspirators against York, they became co-defendants along with him.
Now you have to think, these are mothers that were taken away from their children. Chandra Lumpkin's daughter was still breastfeeding. She not even a year old, a baby, and put in jail. Khadijah Merritt, son, about 3 years old. Yeah, you know, or Kathy Johnson, who suffers, she has a hereditary illness where, you know, she needs medical help, not to be sitting in a jail cell.
I was told that they would be treated the same way I'm treated. That means I was sleeping on a concrete floor with few pork, bad food, wanting to get my medication, watching rats and roaches, bugs and stuff, in the midst of some very dangerous criminals, knowing Kathy suffered from MS, which is a very, very dangerous disease. I said, they're not giving my medicine. Hers is brain deteriorating. She'll be crippled for life. They use that, not to mention starvation, sleep deprivation, when they kept waking me up, no allowance to telephone calls, internet my mail, you know, the poor diet, a whole bunch of things, and it's outright vulgar and physical abuse.
The last straw was when Rochelle York came with the attorneys, and the attorney said, okay, look, final, this is the deal. They'll let everybody go. You'll be able to speak to your people one more time, and you have to tell them that everything that you've taught for 30 years was a lie. Take the deal. They kept battling that. This is why it took a week. It was like, no, forget it. Dr. York is just like, they're all in jail because somebody is angry at me. And so, what choice did he have? Their lives were pendulum upon him agreeing to a guilty plea. It was a setup. It was a setup from the door. So once the government didn't take the plea, they didn't take the plea because during the plea deal, which is in the transcripts, the judge involved himself in it, like gave an idea which would be a better amount of time to give Dr. York. And that's biasness. And that's when Lawson took himself off of the case because he showed complete biasness by involving himself, giving his opinion on Dr. York.